Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'm going to talk a little bit to my friend Karen McClure. She's from a great organization called the Rich Club, richclub.org, and I'm a huge fan. I'm a big believer in people pursuing the American dream, and Rich Club is helping people do just that. Karen, before you introduce your guests real quickly, tell us about Rich Club. Go into a little detail.
Okay. Well, Rich Club is a nonprofit trade association, and we work very hard to give people the resources that they need to invest in real estate to provide a better future for their family. And one of the things that makes it a better future is that money that they earn is secured, and that is where our speaker today comes in. He has personally experienced the fact that everything that you have earned in your life can be wiped out by one illness or one accident. And I think his passion on this subject has made him one of the most sought-after speakers in the U.S. today on asset protection, taxes, business structuring, and estate planning. He's a nationally recognized expert in financial and estate planning. He's a counselor to the United States Supreme Court. He holds licenses in law, real estate, and insurance. And he's spoken to over 1 million people, helping them understand the law and how to use it to their benefit. We would like to welcome our speaker today, Attorney Lee Phillips.
Hey,
Hi,
Lee.
how are you, Karen?
Very well. How are you?
I'm great.
Lee, glad to have you on the program. I'm Kevin Price, the host. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the background of your organization.
Well, I help people do the tax planning, the business structuring, the estate planning, the asset protection, all that sort of stuff, because it all melts together after a little while. The real short story is I got sick shortly after I got out of law school. I was going to be a patent attorney, and spent 5 months in intensive care, and our family, my wife and our 3 kids and I, lost everything we had during that period. And when I got through with that experience 30 years ago, I decided that I wasn't going to practice patent law. I was going to make it so that it never happened to me again, and I was going to try and help people make it so that it never happened to them either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Let me ask you real quickly, how long were you sick?
I was down for 3 years. I had stage 4C cancer when I went into the hospital, and I was in the hospital for 6 months.
Wow, that's incredible. Karen, your question?
Well, I do. Yeah, I know you're coming to Rich on May 15th, and that is a Thursday evening, and you're going to spend a couple hours talking about what?
We're going to talk about asset protection and the tools that a lawyer has available to protect someone. There are only a limited number of tools, but it depends upon how the lawyer uses them as to what asset protection you get. And I have to make a comment. Integrated in with all of this is the tax structure, because, frankly, the IRS is your major impediment to financial success. It takes more of your money than any other entity or facet or problem that you could face during your lifetime.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, it's very hostile, and it doesn't make sense economically, socially. It really the way everything's set up in our culture is so contrary to what common sense would facilitate. If you wanted people to be wealthier, if you wanted people who are in lower income to become middle class to become affluent, you would structure things very differently than the way they structure it now.
Well, the catch is whether you're doing the real estate or whether you're a small businessman, there isn't a lot that you personally can do to affect your taxes. You can't lower your adjusted gross income, for example. About the only thing you can do is contribute to a standard IRA. But the legal tools, the business structure that you have, can affect your taxes, because that comes out what we call above the line. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk about these structures on Thursday night and teach people generally how to use them, what they can do, what they can't do. And the problem is a lot of folks go to one lawyer, they get one story, they go to another lawyer, they get another story, go to a third guy, they get a third story. The lawyer is using the same tools, but he's using those tools for different reasons. Mm-hmm. In different functions. And you're going to have to understand what they can do and what they can't do so that you can direct what happens to you and your family.
Yeah, very good. Go ahead, Karen.
So you're saying not that the lawyer won't necessarily know how to do this properly, that you need to be educated in order to make sure that you're getting what you think you're getting?
Basically, you need to make sure you know what you're getting, but you also need to be able to, I'm going to say, use the tool or operate the tool. The classic example is the family doctor found my cancer, sent me to the specialist. The specialist said I was nuts, treated me for 2 years as having had an infection instead of cancer. And what I didn't know is all the guy had to do was poke my finger and give me a blood test, and he would have found the cancer. I never asked.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's so
it's the same with the lawyer. You have to know what needs to be done, and then you have to demand that.
Well, I hope that guy isn't practicing medicine anymore. That's for sure.
I'm afraid he is.
Oh, that's too bad to hear. Yeah, I had a health crisis a few years ago myself, and was seriously ill for about a year. And I tell you, it was ruinous, and it's taken a long time to recover from that. I feel like I'm still in the process of recovering from that. And so anything one can do to prepare for that as wisely as possible makes sense. I encourage people to go to richclub.org. That's richclub.org to get more information. And really appreciate your time with us here today, telling us more about your story, Lee.
Well, it's great to be with you, Kevin and Karen. Thank you so much.
Yep, Lee Phillips been our guest. He's with legalese.com. That's LEGALEES.com. Thanks to you. Final thoughts, Karen, before we wrap it up?
Well, just to let you know, he'll be here on Thursday, and then he's also doing an all-day Saturday seminar on an additional topic, so you can learn about that when you come on Thursday or at our website.
So it's a day-long Saturday seminar. On Saturday, it begins at what time?
I believe it begins at 9 o'clock.
And the Thursday?
6:45
So
p.m.
That's in the evening.
Yes.
Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. I'm Kevin Price, and this is The Price of Business.